Are live.
Good morning, Rich.
Good morning, Greg. How you doing?
It's early, but I'm fine. Got some exciting news from the directors of Belmont today.
Very good. Very good. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Well, we put out a news release this morning. Belmont acquires gold prospect in the historic Republic Greenwood Gold District.
Oh wow, that's big.
And there's been a follow up to the already. There's a follow up for the news release from Austrian based newsletter writer Stefan Bogner, and he's. I think we have the report up in front of us now.
We do.
Oh, okay. There we go. So Belmont makes a big splash, receives water rights in Nevada. I think we've covered that previously. Last we spoke on Belmont, we were just doing our drilling, and there's two sides to this particular article. It talks about Belmont receiving the lithium brine mining rights, lithium brine water rights mining. So lithium brine water brine commission. I don't know. It's basically the state of Nevada has issued us a first of its kind permit for the Monte Cristo Valley, specifically for the Kibbe Basin, where our lithium brine project is ongoing. So we're allowed now to. It's some staggering amount of water. It's millions and millions of gallons.
Wow.
That we can bring up from underneath the Kibbe playa there in the Monte Cristo Valley, Nevada, to extract the lithium from. So we finished the drill hole, and no sooner than we finished the drill hole, the rains came. And I don't know if you've ever been down in Nevada, but there's a lot of the culverts and ditches and stuff, and where they're dry gulches. It's not a good time if it's raining to be in the mountains in Nevada. All of a sudden you could be walking, and then there could be a 10-foot wall of water coming at you as the snow melt or rain comes off the mountains. So we got the crew got in there last week, and the rains had subsided. The playa had gone dry. And just as they're going to launch themselves into the playa, another rainstorm came. So it's not like a great big lake. It's what, like an inch. It's an inch of water over about 10 square miles is what it is. And this crew is going into downhill probe our hole that we just completed. And this device, again, I think if some of your viewers follow me on the Montoro, measures resistivity, temperature. So it also, the same crew that's going to drop this probe down the hole to look to see where the resistivity is lowest, which is the sign for lithium. They're as well going to, they measured the temperature, and once they've finished probing the whole hole, they start from the surface down to the bottom. We hit a gravel layer at the bottom, and that is a very important thing because we're looking for lithium brine. The brine isn't in a great big void. It's not a great big void of water in these aquifers. There'll be rocks in it, and the water's in between the rocks. And this gravelly layer that we intersected at the bottom of the hole is very prospective for a site for us to pump test the water from. And quite frankly, if the values in the lithium brine are anything above 160 parts per million, will be a very big growing concern there, because we're only about 40 miles from the only producing lithium mine in North America, and that's the Silver Peak. And I think I could bring a picture up, but we'll just cover that later. The big news here today is that we've acquired a property in the Republic Greenwood gold mining district here in British Columbia.
Wow.
A very prolific district. It's a #2 in British Columbia area for gold production. Many millions of ounces. I think we're over 6 million ounces have been produced in the camp. Going to the news release, we acquired 253 hectares. So good chunk of property. There's a lot of activity in that camp. We've had of recent, you've got, well, one of the big player of the camp is Kinross, good sized gold mining company. They've optioned and are joint venturing a great deal of ground in that area. Other juniors in the area, Grizzly's probably the biggest landowner in the area. And they're doing joint ventures with Kinross Gold.
Wow.
Tsxv and GGX, I mentioned before in the last we spoke. One of my favorite gold stocks is GGX, and they're and so now Belmont's joined them in the camp, which is great. You know, one of my favorite gold stocks is we're almost neighbors now.
Wow.
So this is it's an opportunity that, you know, we've been around for 40 years. So we know a lot of prospectors, geologists, something good comes up, we're good guys, people will come to us with these projects. And we couldn't miss the opportunity to be part of this ongoing, you know, quite an exciting area for gold exploration. In the near neighborhood from where we acquired our property, there's already 2 different mines that were smaller mines that were in production in that area. So I got a picture here. Let's go through the news release here as I scroll. Jim Place, our president, says in the news release, a very important milestone in the development of the Kibbe Basin property. And he's talking here and this is Stephen Bogner. For your listeners, it's the Rockstone report, easily found on the internet. Rockstone report predominantly follows the mining sector. So again, here he talks about we completed the gravelly layer is in Jim Place, our president's words, in generally a highly prospective for lithium brine accumulations. Again, there's only the one lithium mine still to this day in North America. We're 40 miles to the south of it. I'm bouncing back and forth between the Nevada project and the British Columbia project. I'm sorry about that. Maybe we just finished the Nevada project and our update there, and I'm going to bring up a quick graphic for you.
There's no American symbol? We have a question from the audience. Is there an American symbol?
I'm sorry, there is no American symbol right now. We're working on it. You know, we're listed in Frankfurt, we're listed here, but it's been a quandrum with the application to get us filed. It's strange because we're having this difficulty getting our U.S. listing booted up, because back in the day, Belmont was one of the first companies to list on the full NASDAQ.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we were one of the first 10 companies to list on NASDAQ.
Really? So Belmont's been around for a long time then?
Yeah. And
wow.
Now, you know, there was some confunkel about the conversion from general GAAP to international GAAP. We were already on international GAAP. GAAP is an accounting method, and we've always filed our financials on international GAAP. The state switched over and then back, and they said, oh, you have to redo all this stuff. So they wanted us to spend like, not a lot of money, but $30,000 to restate our financials by a U.S. accountant. And that's the reason it's a bit of a sore spot with us, considering the length of time that we've been listed in the States. But that's the way it is, and we haven't been able to change this. So I'm just going to click for your viewers' entertainment. I put this is the PowerPoint presentation for the Kibbe Basin project. In general terms, there's the USGS, the United States Geological Survey. Very amazing people, amazing organization. If you ever go to their sites, I mean, they have just the vast amount of information can be acquired from the USGS sites, not just about American properties, but all about geology, and all the geology, and well, they're a world authority on, and they really sort of put the work in. So in the USGS, when lithium prices shot up in 2015, they dusted off the report and to say, okay, so lithium's a big deal. We got a lithium mine here in Nevada, the Silver Peak. Let's put the good girls and guys together and write a report in general terms. What do you gotta have, or what you should look for if you're looking for a lithium brine mine? So this is a shot of our property here, Belmont 40-year anniversary. You can see that. The extensive generic discussion about cautionary notes here. Again, you can see, I don't know if I can get that. Anyways, moving along. Now, in December of 2017, the president filed an executive order 13817 on the federal strategy to ensure and secure reliable supplies of critical minerals. The United States must not remain reliant on foreign competitors like Russia and China for critical minerals needed to keep our economies and our economy strong and our country safe, said President Trump in his executive order. Accompanying the presidential executive order, the USGS issued a 900-page full report on the critical minerals in the USA, the situation thereof. Within the document was a checklist of characteristics of a closed lithium brine deposit. And here we go. The checklist. This is a shot for your viewers. This is a shot of in the background there of the Silver Peak lithium brine mine in Nevada. That's their. They basically pump the water up and make huge ponds you can see from space. Let the water dry out, collect the salt, and then take the lithium out of the salt. That's lithium brine mining. Okay, so here's the list: A to G, arid climate.
Sorry, Greg. Can I ask you a couple questions from the audience here?
Sure.
First question: what are your thoughts on silver and platinum as an investment?
Well, are they gonna buy some stocks that are involved in that sector? Or are you gonna buy some silver or platinum?
No, actually buying silver and platinum like as a commodity.
I'd like to say that it's a good idea, but I mean, for what particular reason? For the monetary escalation?
Yeah, monetary escalation. Like, would you consider that being like physically? One of our investors here, he actually is a jeweler.
Oh yeah.
So he collects gold, platinum, silver. He has a lot of it. So he's trying to determine whether or not he should sell it or hold it, and just kind of get your opinion on it.
Well, if everything falls apart, we get a solar flare, knocks out the internet. Yeah, he's going to be this. He's going to be one happy. Well, he will be a happy camper, won't he? Because there won't be any. People have all gone to paying with their phones and stuff. It's. I want to use the word prepper, but there's a lot of security in having physical gold should things melt down. That's why a lot of people have gold coins, Kugarans, Maple Leafs. The theory being that if the currency markets totally melt down, that they'll have something that has a value to go forward on, for the safety of themselves and their family, etc., etc. Speculating on silver, sitting on some silver and platinum, it's just an asset that doesn't generate. It's just a hard asset. I haven't seen a good silver market in decades. So
Wow.
and
That kind of answers it right there. Decades.
In Belmont, coincidentally, it was because of the depressed silver prices, and Kodak came straight out. They were manipulating the prices. It was like the major use for silver back in the day was making, you took a camera, you put some film in your camera, you took some pictures, you took it down to the photo mat to have them processed. That's where the biggest use of silver was. It was in the silver nitrate used for processing photographs.
Wow.
Which is a thing when was the last time you picked up some pictures? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
So Kodak was manipulating that market, and no one gave it, really didn't. And then I was around when the Hunt brothers learned that important lesson from my buddy Greg Hunt, their nephew, who was a trader for Revco at the time. And every time I go into Chicago to visit brokers, me and Greg would get together, and he told me, he says, it's just like that movie Trading Places. Every time a investor buys a call on the commodity exchange, the call is an option to purchase at a future date, silver, say. And they're usually 3-month contracts. So every time someone would buy a call, the firm would put in 10 puts. So the firm would bet for every one bet up, the firm would bet 10 down.
Wow.
So how are you going to move the market? So this is okay, fine, and dandy. Now, I guess he told me that this is the story. I don't know if you look up the Hunt brothers. So he told his uncles this, I guess, at Thanksgiving or whatever. And the Hunt brothers were quite well-heeled, wealthy oil guys. And they took it upon learning this. They looked at it and they took it upon themselves to say, well. He says, well, how does that work? If one person wants to buy an ounce of silver, 100 ounces of silver, and your firm is betting that they're betting it the silver to go up, and and the firm's betting it to go down. So how is it going to go up? So then they figured out that it says, well, every 3 months we settle it. Oh, he says, so if I got my call in, and every 3 months, and they says, well, most of the trades are paper trades. Like only about less than 10% of all the trades on the Chicago Merc on these commodities actually are settled in physical activities. The pork bellies went here, the orange juice went there, the silver went there. Less than 10%. The rest is all paper trades. And so the Hunt brothers said, okay, so they put in huge orders to buy calls, and when it turned times when everybody's trading out of the paper trades, they didn't. They took delivery, and they did that like for about three closes for about 9 months. Well, there wasn't that. It was all smoke and mirrors.
Wow.
And the silver just went up. I think it just shot up to some staggering amount, $100.
Wow.
From dollars. On that, and then the Hunt brothers figured out that the commodity market guys were the guys running the commodity brokerages in Chicago were running this game, and then all said and done, the SEC dragged them in, blah blah blah. You figured they weren't going to let them, basically control the silver market, which was, and that's back in the day when Belmont, we had our own silver mine to the north of this picture you see here, north of Fallon. We had the Wonder Mine. We were producing silver and gold, and the ratio between silver and gold got so, for thousands of years, Rich, it was like there was like a golden ratio, or gold silver ratio. It was like 1 ounce of gold would be, if you had 1 ounce of gold, you could trade that for 7 ounces, 6 to 7 ounces of silver. Well, at the prices today, that ratio is like way out of whack. I mean, gold, silver's like about $30, $40, and you got the gold at pretty firmly around $1,300. So it's hardly 7 to 1. Yeah, so I can't help you. I mean, I've had friends that bought vast amounts of silver and buried it in their backyard, and waited like 15 years, and still after 15 years or 20 years, they didn't make a profit. So that's a personal experience.
Wow. Another question that I have here from the community is, can you ask what we should expect from assay results?
In regards to our Nevada project, lithium, what we should look for is we're going to have core results. Last hole we got up to over 500 parts per million. Lithium in the core. The producing mine, the Silver Peak, operates at 160 parts per million, but that's in the core. So you want to find the lithium in the water. The advantage being is there's not, if you find lithium in the water, all you got to do is pump the water to the surface and extract the lithium. There's no mining, there's no milling, there's no gigantic trucks moving back and forth, and huge excavations. No, it's a pretty unobtrusive method of mining. And so there's a couple companies. One, Lithium America, listed on the New York Stock Exchange, was a TSX Venture stock all the way to the New York Stock Exchange. Up in the I wonder if you can see this. Here's a picture of Nevada. Can you see my cursor moving around?
Yes.
Okay, so on this picture of Nevada, up here is where they found it. It's an area called Hawthorne. They didn't really find anything. These guys were drilling. I think they were looking for boron or oil or something, and they drilled all these holes in this area, and they found the lithium. They didn't find any lithium brine, but they found lots of lithium in the clay. And so they went back, and Lithium America, they went and they drilled it out, blah, blah, blah. Hey, if you take the price of lithium today and they're 43,101, they got $81 billion worth of lithium.
Wow.
And this is something I try to tell people. There are certain rules you'll learn in this game, they're painful ones. And one of them, quite frankly, is if it's in clay, a mining adage, if it's in clay, run away. No one is success in my mind, and I've looked, and I've been in the business. Clay can really screw up any serious production, and a lot of production circuits in the mining. And separating whatever it is from the clay is a boondoggle. There was a company out in Quebec that they were on in the St. Lawrence on an island there, and they had some aluma. Anyways, they had some clay. There's a lot of aluminum production in Quebec. I think most of it comes from Jamaica. They bring it in.
Wow.
And it's an key ingredient to make aluminum. So anyways, they got millions. They got tens of millions from both the Quebec, millions of dollars from the Quebec and the federal government. They had a nice deposit. They spent the money year in, year out. The stock went from pennies to $3, $4. After many, many years of trying and all the equipment and processes they brought in, they couldn't do it. The stock's still listed. So there's a lesson. If it's in clay, run away. There's another company, probably just to the west of the Silver Peak mine, a Australian group called Global Geosciences, and they have the same sort of deposit, but they got a bit of boron in their clay deposit. These discoveries are already 3-4 years old. The resource they've drilled the properties. The resource exists. They get nowhere with getting it out. They're calling for huge amounts of acid, and if you're going to have acid, you're going to need water, and that's the problem. Both the one up here, the Hawthorne, Lithium America, and then the one to the east here of Clayton Valley Global Geosciences, they haven't got any water. It's like rule number 2 of mining. Should be rule number 1. Find some water. Mining uses a lot of water. And if you don't got any water, which Global Geosciences doesn't, and neither does our friends up in Hawthorne and Lithium America. So anyways, I've gone off track. I didn't mean to, but that's, we don't want to find the lithium in the clay, which we already have. We want to find the lithium in the water. So I'm just going to run through this here quickly. Again, this is the checklist from the USGS, the things you need to have a lithium brine mine. The B, this is a very key graphic, Rich. This is from the GRACE satellites, a bad depiction of one of them here. Two satellites, they just finished their, I think they got an 11-year mission. The GRACE 2 satellites are up. They're low altitude satellites. They fly over the same, every 22 hours, they'll fly over the same spot in the Earth. So, and this one here, the GRACE satellites are looking for water. And both watching the movement of water on the ocean and lakes, and they have geospatial or they have the ability to identify aquifers, underground aquifers. So here we have a graphic showing where we are. This is the Monte Cristo Valley, and this is the Kibbe Basin where we are. That's we just got the senior water rights to extract lithium brine. As you can see to the right here, the low risk factor. That means that in here there's lots of water. So if this is like an A score, that we've got this is an A score. There's lots of water. You can see the distinct area here. This means what you're seeing here is there's water there, and it's a closed basin. It's our swimming pool all around this area here where I'm going here. That's the Monte Cristo Mountains. So we are actually inside an ancient volcanic volcano, or inside the caldera of an ancient volcano. And we're in the flats there. So if you look down to here, you see Silver Peak, the mine, and they're in the medium to high risk. So they've been pumping water out of their aquifer for 50 years. And it's gone from low risk, which would be lots of water, to medium to high risk. So they're getting to the end of their gig there. Other reason, tectonically driven subsidence. It's basically, we're talking about faults. There's one main fault that comes down from up here into the Kibbe Basin. These are different ages of the faults. This is the area where we drilled right here just recently. Next slide. So these are all things tectonically distant systems. So here we have, again, a shot of Clayton Valley, the Big Smoky Valley, where these are all prospective closed basins: Alkali Lake, Big Smoky, Columbus Marsh, and of course the Kibbe Basin. The main feature here is the Monte Cristo Valley substrate fault that comes right there, and it ends right in our playa. So it's another method for the water to come up through a fault. We already know that from our last drill hole that just down 500-600 feet, you're into about 50 Celsius, which was an extremely warm day, but. So there's another key element. We got that checked off. We got the subsistence, igneous or geothermal activity. Where we are is here again. We're in an area designated by the state of Nevada and University of Northern Nevada, Reno. They did a geoprobe geoprobes device is about 2 meters, 2 meter pole that they push into the ground and they measure the temperature. So as they were moving down through the towards us, the temperature went up. Then, of course, since 2011, last year we drilled and we verified it was 50 Celsius. So we got the geothermal kicked out. Another thing, lithium-bearing rock source. Well, we've already found in this one. In this one, I didn't update it. This is from 2 years ago. We found 200 parts per million. Last year, we found over 500 parts per million. No, okay. So this again, I haven't updated this. This is from 2017, 2018. We've gone from 200 to 800. Again, we need to find the lithium in the brine. There's some shots, some highlights of the playa satellite shots. This is about the area where we're drilling right now. You can see the darkened area. That's usually an indication of water. Again, this is we did a gravity survey. This shows you, like our property is over like this, over top of this gravity well. Where there's low gravity, there's water. So this goes down like 6-10 clicks, this void here. So we're looking for water anywhere in here. So that's why we did the, which is this, where we're in here. Well, yeah, the next last thing, one or more aquifers to host brine reservoir. Here we got one. Here's our Quantec survey that we did showing different views. This particular massive aquifer, this one here, depicted from the south, it's roughly 6 kilometers long and about 4 kilometers wide. And there's an area in here, the purple area, that's where we're hoping, that's where it's indicated low resistivity, high conductivity, the sign for lithium. This is where we're drilling into this Quantec indicated aquifer, low resistivity aquifer. Bing, bang, boom. Again, the shot. So in this shot, we're coming down. We're going into this low resistivity area. And another thing on their list: time to concentrate the brine. They estimate the formation of the Kibbe Basin is 11 to 24 million years old. There's lots of rhyolite. Rhyolite's the host rock. That's where the lithium is found in the area. And we got a huge land package. It's about 10 square miles. But as you can see, we've taken all the claims on top of the deep end of that gravity survey, that gravity well, which is a closed basin, is the key thing. I had a lot of help from some great people helping me on this PowerPoint. Barnaby Rockwell, he's like the head geophysicist for the USGS. He does all their space stuff. NASA, I had help from a guy from NASA, the USGS, the Delaware Science Laboratory, University of Reno. Lisa Stillings, she's been to our property. She works for the USGS. She's the co-author of this report we've been looking at the points from. Folds and Wendy Colvin, they're profs at the University of Reno. There's a lot of people hoping that we find for investors, like we have a lot of help from the USGS. Never get that in BC, but they're very helpful, very forthcoming. And there we go. And I gotta get out of here. And we're back. Sorry about that. We go back here.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Greg. A lot of members are asking. The stock price, it seems to be stuck around 4.5 cents. So as an investor, what can they expect? Is this going to be a slow mover? Is this going to just explode one day when they least expect it? Because it's just kind of bouncing between 4 and 4.5 cents right now. Any idea?
Not. I mean, the day is still young. I think that a lot of people are getting the news now. Jesus, I mean, I'd like this. I would have thought that we would have a stronger day today. It's not so bad, but we've had a lot of trading back and forth with the alternate trading systems. A lot of your viewers may be familiar with them. Can you see this graphic? Can you see my quote up there, Rich?
Yep.
Okay. So here's the regular market, the TSX venture. We're bid 762,000. I better do this again. Another one. I don't know if this is because their screen is here. Can I do this? That doesn't work that way. Is that the same quote you get? We've only traded 254.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Anyways, again, the ATSs. See the ATSs there? This is the thing. A lot of your investors trading online with their banks do not see this. We pay extra to view the alternate trading system. So in this regard here today, on the TSX venture, and that's like if you go on your TD Bank, RBC, whatever, and you look and you see the bid and ask, this is the bid and ask, you'll see 4 to 4.5. You don't see, and you can see that we traded 70,000, which is not all transparent, is it? Because we traded 254,000. And of that, so we traded 70 in the regular exchange, and these alternate trading systems make up the balance of the 254. Very frustrating thing. In 2010, this is a long dissertation, but at the end of 2010, the TSX and the member firms thereof, and really made a mess of the TSX. It was they'd all jump on one stock and they'd ride it all the way up to the top. One of the classic is Nortel, or another classic would be BlackBerry. Here's a hot stock and everybody's buying it, and the next thing you know, it crashes out, and all these member firms are all drank the Kool-Aid, and so they're holding paper. Their clients are holding paper at higher prices, and the asset value, how a brokerage firm works is the shares that they hold on behalf of their clients is determined as their assets, and they can use the bank will lend them money based on their assets. Well, if the asset value of their clients' shares, in the case of say like Nortel was $70-$80 when it crashed down to $4. I don't even know if it's a couple bucks anymore. I haven't checked it for a while. But it's just a series of these mistakes. And so along comes the TMX group. The TMX group is the 4 biggest banks in Canada and the 2 biggest pension funds, the Ontario and the Quebec teachers' pension funds. They buy the TSX and change it into the TMX. And this happened in December 2010. And lo and behold, in 2011, we got these ATSs. First, there was 6. Coincidence? Maybe not. Who owns them? Well, we know the banks own 4 of them. And does that mean that the teachers' funds own the other 2? Well, we got 14 of them now.
Wow. Can I ask you a quick question from the audience? Mm-hmm. They just want to know why Belmont hasn't released the gold data of the new acquisition yet.
It's even though it's from 2000, the last 43-101 report. It's even if it's only just 19 years old, and it's a report that's come, like the 43-101 was brought in as a result of another Toronto deal. It was listed in Calgary called Brex. Oh yeah. A penny stock listed on the Calgary Stock Exchange. Everybody in Toronto fell in love with it, and they wrote it up to over $100 a share. The whole thing turned to be a fraud, and it was another classic. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon and rode the stock up to high prices and forgot about. Kind of reminds me of the pot deals. Forgot about the reality of things. So that's when the 43-101 rule came in. Specific guidelines for the identification of resources and methodologies and terminologies you can use to explain resources in the ground. The National Instrument 43-101. And this data is from 2000, is well into that period of time. So it's compliant, but let's just say that we need to do our work and have our people on the ground before we come forward with that. So we'll be sending crews in there, and we're looking at different surveys that we can run. Again, these will be IP, induced polarization. We're really looking for resistivity. Of course, again, measured in ohms. Sometimes they use different pieces of equipment that could have their own terminology, but anybody with a voltage meter can find the upside down U thing and measure the ohms. And we would be doing those surveys. We'll be looking for low resistivity, which is a good sign of a high conductive material. In this case, we'll be looking for gold. Again, we're going to be in there doing that, and we don't want to rely on the previous 43101. We need to start our own process with our own geologist, and then he'll write the report. So I don't think I'll see a report that way for quite a few months as yet, because it's still got quite a bit of snow on the ground there.
Can you talk a little bit about the relationship? Is there a partnership between Belmont Resources and MGX Minerals?
Yeah, we have an agreement. Right now, they've earned 25% of the lithium brine at the Tsxv Basin. I think it's by spending another $300,000 plus on exploration, they can earn a further 25%. We've given them extension till the end of this month to further the funds if they want to do such. The rationale behind of us joint venturing with them is that they have a pretty intriguing technology that allows for the extraction of elements from brine sources. So they've been operating in Alberta, where they have oil well brine. It runs about 70 parts per million, and so far recently they can extract 40 parts per million. So the big advantage in this process is this. Like classic, we can't get onto our property to pump test our well because of the rains. Well, if it rains where we are, believe me, it rained at Silver Peak, and the process. So the water gets pumped up at Silver Peak. They got huge ponds. They let the sun and the hot mountain air dry out the water to form the salt. It's like 18 to 20 months before that water dries out, and then you sweep it up and send it for final processing. With the MGX process, it happens in minutes. Water goes in, out. They have membranes to sift out the lithium and the potassium and the sodium, all saleable elements. And it happened just now. You just turn the water on, and the lithium brine goes this way, the sodium goes this way, the potassium goes this way, and no 20 months waiting around. Now, the rains that we had just now would definitely slow down the process of evaporation down at Silver Peak, because the ponds that were waiting to dry out just filled up. So that's one of the reasons we're involved with them. Time's running here. We've given an extension, I believe, to the end of the month in the last news release. And we shall see if they're going to come forward with some further funds for us to do further drilling there.
Well, that'll be great. Hopefully you guys are able to get those funds and just continue to move forward with your plan.
Yes, it would be delightful. I see that MGX is bringing their technology to Utah. Has got a lot of I don't know if you ever get on Google Earth. Right where the Bonneville salt flats are. That's just on the other side from Nevada and Utah bordered. And just as you're going east from Nevada into Utah, that on that one road there, that's where the Bonneville Salt Flats, where they have those, where they race, to try to beat the land speed record. And they got motorcycles. Geez, I think some woman was was on a bicycle. she's riding the slipstream of someone's a big truck or some vehicle or someone really fast, and she's in the slipstream, and I forget how fast she was going. But they got this is where you go, and you can go with your car all souped up, and you want to put the pedal to the metal. This is the spot you go. But in that area, and because the ground they're running on is salt. And in that area there is like Morton's, I can't remember all the big names that are there. There's most of the salt mines, literally, the salt production in the United States is all in that area. And this one company that MGX just got to deal with, they pull, I think it's, they're already mining potassium and sodium, and now they're going to add MGX's lithium circuit in there. So, because there's lithium in the water too, in Utah. This is Utah. So yeah, it would get us from discovery to production in a very short period of time. I mean, literally months as opposed to years. Again, the advantage of lithium brine mining is there's no digging, no big equipment expenditures, and there's no milling. Milling can kill many a mining deal. Not having the right mill can many companies faltered there. Build the mine, turn the mill on. Oh, geez, the mill's not milling it right. That's what happened to Nemaska. People forget. Nemaska is building a lithium mine in Quebec. And it's not their first kick of the cat. Back in 2007, they started to try to build that mine again. Back in 2007, and they put a mill in. I think it cost $250 million. And the mill wasn't doing the job, wasn't grinding the rock up fine enough. And here they are $1 billion later in 2019, $300 million short of their goal for completing that job. So this is the huge advantage of lithium brine mining. It's like all those problems, the milling, the mining, the mine plan, the shafts, you just turn the tap, the water comes up, and you pull out the lithium. And that's, so...
I got a couple more questions here, Greg. If lithium brine is found at KB4, well 2 on water permit, will MGX deploy one of their units to start producing lithium and thus start making money at Kibby?
That's the plan. That's the plan as it is today.
Very good.
I know that they've commissioned the making of I think it's five of the smaller units, and they're making one very large unit as well. I don't know about the completion date for these constructions. You can go to their website. You can see that the one they're using out in Alberta, it goes in the back of a container. It's not some huge superstructure monstrosity head frame. No, it fits like the whole thing fits inside a container.
Wow.
You bring your water in, and then all the pumps and all the filters are all inside this container.
Another question, sorry, is how big is Kibby Resources in Nevada compared to its peers?
Well, we don't have a resource yet, The only comparison I can give outside of that, because we've been drilling, and right now we're waiting to get the pump tests on the gravel where we just encountered. And if that comes up again, the Silver Peak operates at 160 parts per million, and it's in water. So if we can get anything above 160 parts per million brine in the water at the bottom of KB4, then it'd be a simple thing, really. Is we've verified the aquifer from the Quantec MT survey, and then you just move over and maybe make just probably as little as 2 holes in a triangulate if you hit that aquifer here and you go to the north like half a kilometer and you hit it there, and you go to the west, half a kilometer. So you get half a kilometer between each hole, all three holes, and you've gone into that aquifer, and you've got the same result in those three spots. You can come up with a number, a resource, because at least between those three drill holes in a triangle that you've got that there's an aquifer that you've intersected on three different occasions and verified it exists, and you pump tested it, measured the lithium content. So that's a good size area that you can say, well, in that area alone, we got so many million gallons, and it has so many parts per million. But we're just at the very beginning now that we've hit this gravelware, and we want to get that pump tested and off to ALS and Reno for analysis.
And another question.
It's an exciting time.
One quick question.
One
more quick question. So you have to drill the KB5 hole also if they hit the brine in KB4?
Yeah, and here. So this is maybe not the best picture for your viewers, but we've come into here, roughly we've come into here, down here, and then KB5 would be over here. And you're looking at it one way, here we are looking at down on it. So, this is a distinct aquifer we got there going on there. So if we were to if we hit here, and we drill a hole here, and we drill a hole here, and we'll know what's in this particular area. You can hypothecate what the rest is, but for 4301 things, for 43101, you have to drill many holes, certain distance apart. You can drill, you can see in the core, you'll see by your testing that, yeah, this aquifer is the same aquifer we hit over half a kilometer, 500 meters over there. We hit the same layer here, and we triangulate it to there. I can't remember I think the company called Iconic did the same process, but they did it with they're up in the Columbus Marsh or Rhodes Marsh area, way north of us. And they found lithium in clay, deep stuff, 11 to 1,300 parts per million. On my personal opinion, they're never going to get it out. But they just drilled 3 holes, and they hit the same layer of lithium-laden clay, and they triangulated that and came with a pretty big 43101, giving the value in the ground of the lithium being quite high. But again, it's in clay. How the hell are you going to get it up, right? Sulfuric acid, is your only real methodology. And again, the reason that those guys up in Rhodes Marsh are doing the 43-1 based on the lithium and clays because there's no water in that basin. At one point there might have been. We've just come to an end of a 9-year drought in the area. California's announced the end of the drought. 9 years is a long time to have a drought. And Great Basin, where we are located, there's a lot of water use. Of course, you got Vegas, etc. A lot of the water is shared with California. Water is going to be a big deal going forward. Very big deal. A lot of problems there. What was that, Rich? I'm sorry.
Well, what I wanted to do is we've been live for about 53 minutes, so I want to kind of cut the end of the video here. So that we can get as many people to watch this video as possible. So if there's anything else that you want to leave all the investors with that are watching about Belmont Resources, what would it be?
Again, this is we've got a very nice property in putting out today's announcement. Top flight property, existing gold resources, that gold's been found there. It's not a green field, but there's been some gold mining on the property back in between 1900 and I think 1930ish. We have technology now. Even on a drone, we could fly over the property and find prospective areas that these guys never would have thought would have been like magic to these old miners. How we can find things now, and it's a very exciting camp. They've been making a lot of discoveries there, like in the case of GGX, 129 grams per ton gold. That's spectacular. With 1,154 grams per ton silver over 7 meters. They've produced 6 million ounces plus so far today. Again, we got the majors. Kinross is a good sized major. They're in the camp, and you're going to see some pretty good action here as a result of this acquisition over, I think, of course, today's Thursday, but there's a lot of people that have been following this camp, and we got some of the better ground in the whole camp.
Very good. I have another question here. Can MGX be working on setting up a system at KB4 while other holes are being drilled?
Nothing to that has come forward as yet.
Okay.
Again, I mentioned that I believe that they're having like 5 of these systems made now, smaller ones, and one gargantuan one is being. I think Hatch is building it for them. I could be wrong. And there's a good-sized engineering firm that's building a pretty big one. The homes for all the announced separate pieces of equipment have not been announced, so we don't know yet. It'd be pretty plain Jane. We find something again, anything above 160 parts per million at Kibby, and we will be a growing concern, and we'll tick all the boxes, and would be the next. We'd have a damn good chance of being the next lithium mine in America.
Wow.
There's a couple of players in Utah and Arkansas that are up and coming, but their process calls for their process is a different process again. It's like you got a mat, and they spray the water over this mat, and there's like these nanoscopic cones that somehow magically capture the lithium in the cones. That are trillions of them in this mat. So, and then you take the mat and you process the mat to get the lithium out. It's a never been done process. It's a well established science, but no one's ever turned it into a mining mythology as yet. And I wish them the best of luck, because it's they have a chance. But the route for us would be dramatically quicker because of our partnership with MGX.
Very good. And we've seen MGX explode. I know we saw them explode like over $2. So they've had some big runs. Hopefully we'll see the same thing with Belmont Resources.
Yes, it's and now we're back in the gold game, and I think you ask about the stock not trading much volume. We've traded so much volume here over the last 2-3 weeks, and now we're coming towards the month end. We had that. It was a pretty ugly day yesterday in the market. Everybody got all panicky.
Yeah.
Markets could be all market sentiment.
Yeah.
All the pundits are coming out and saying, "Oh, we're going to go into a recession."
Of course, one bad day, and we have one bad day, and we're going into a recession. Everybody panic. Everybody out. Sell, sell, sell. And then today, everything's back up.
I forgot to change the battery on my watch, right? And of course, they don't think about it. And I said, "Well, I take the watch off in the morning, put the watch on." And that damn watch was right twice a day. So, I mean, if you keep saying, "Hey, this guy," you keep saying it's a recession. They've been calling for recession for 8 years. Okay, so slow your roll there. Pick a day.
Well, listen, Greg, I think it's time to go. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
And thank you for all of your education. We've answered a lot of questions. Hopefully, you guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. Maybe you can even email me. I can always ask Greg, and then we'll do this again. We want to do this consistently because Greg has identified that we are in essentially a bottom for commodities, and soon there will be a resurrection. And when it does resurrect, we want to capitalize on it. And that's why we're talking about it right now. Greg has years of experience in the industry, and we're going to continue to talk about it, and we're going to continue to monitor it, and we're going to continue to watch it as it happens. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all your support.
Thanks, everybody. Hope I didn't bore you this time.
And and hopefully we'll see these stocks rise up, guys. Hopefully we'll see them rise up. Thank you, Greg. Have a great day, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Trade safe.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all your guys' support. Hey guys, smash that like button, comment down below, share the video everywhere. If you win and we win, we all win. It's true. This is your boy Rich from RichTV Live with Greg from Belmont Resources. And we're out. Peace.